Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Idle Park Talk Show. Before we continue, please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. Your support is greatly appreciated. Over the past couple of days, there have been several major developments taking place around the world. We begin with the intensifying war between Russia and Ukraine. On May 22nd, 2026, a Ukrainian drone strike reportedly hit a dormitory at the Luhansk Pedagogical University, killing 21 people and injuring 42 others. Many of the victims were reportedly young women. Russia responded with a massive retaliation attack on the Ukraine capital Kiev. During the assault, Russia reportedly used the powerful hypersonic Oreshnik ballistic missile as part of a large-scale drone and missile campaign. According to Ukraine's Air Force, the attack involved approximately 600 strike drones and 90 air, sea, and ground launched missiles. Ukrainian air defenses reportedly intercepted or jammed 549 drones and 55 missiles, while 19 failed to reach their target. Kiev's European allies strongly condemned the strikes and the use of the feared Oreshnik missile. This is clearly a situation that is worth paying attention to. Another major development in recent days has been the growing tension between the United States and Cuba. As of May 2026, relationships between Washington and Havana have deteriorated sharply under Trump's administration. President Trump has implemented an oil blockade and secondary sanctions targeting countries supplying oil to Cuba. The stated goal is to increase economic pressure on the island, which is already experiencing one of its worst economic crises in decades. In addition, the United States Justice Department is reportedly moving towards indicting former Cuban leader Raul Castro, further escalating tension in what many observers see as an effort aimed at regime change in Havana. There is a sense of deja vu here. The strategy resembles the approach previously used against Venezuela, where Trump administration accused President Nicolas Maduro of leading a drug trafficking organization and using those allegations to justify aggressive actions against the Venezuelan government. With the United States struggling to achieve decisive results in the Persian Gulf, and President Trump under pressure to project strength both domestically and internationally, some analysts believe that Cuba may now be viewed as an easier target for demonstrating American power. Cuba has already endured decades of sanctions and economic hardship. The Trump administration may believe the country is vulnerable and nearing collapse, assuming that additional pressure could push the government over the edge. Similar assumptions that were made regarding Iran earlier in the conflict. Leading this charge is Secretary of State Marco Rubio, one of the administration's strongest voices on Cuba policy. Meanwhile, another important political development is unfolding in Senegal. A major political alliance appeared to be collapsing, creating growing tension within the ruling coalition. The crisis centers around a power struggle between President Bassirou Faye and former Prime Minister Ousmane Sanko, following Sanko's dismissal, his re-election as Speaker of Parliament, and the subsequent dissolution of the government. Senegal is another country worth monitoring closely in the coming weeks. We wanted to take a few minutes to highlight some of the major developments happening around the world. Now, on today's episode, we turn our attention to the latest developments in the Persian Gulf. Today marks day 88 of the United States Israel Iran war, and 50 days since the initial ceasefire was announced by President Donald Trump on April 7th and 8th of 2026. Thankfully, despite remaining fragile and frequently tested, the ceasefire is still holding. Both sides continue to accuse each other of violating of 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 violations, but at the same time, both appear committed to preventing a full return to open war. For now, restraint seems to be the order of the day. Iran continues to maintain its blockade and control over the Strait of Hormuz, while the United States Navy has maintained its own military presence and blockade operations in the Gulf. With a ceasefire in place, both Iran and the United States have engaged in indirect high level negotiations mediated by Pakistan, Qatar, and Oman. In recent days, reports have emerged regarding a possible memorandum of understanding between the parties, a framework that would potentially lay foundations for broader negotiations aimed at ending the conflict. Despite suggestions that a deal may be close, officials from both countries continue to issue conflicting statements, signaling that major disagreements still remain. The official terms of the memorandum have not been made public. However, what is being described as state by Iranian state media are highlighted by the Korbesi letters. According to Iranian state media, the proposed framework includes the following points. 1. US military forces would withdraw from areas near Iran. 2. The US Navy would lift its blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. 3. Iran would restore commercial shipping traffic through the Strait of Hormuz to pre-war levels within 1 month. 4. Military vessels will reportedly not be included in their agreement. 5. Iran and Oman would jointly manage and route ship traffic through the Strait of Hormuz. 6. If a final agreement is reached within 60 days, the arrangements would be formalized through a binding United Nations Security Council resolution. It is important to emphasize that these are claims made by the Iranian state media. The Trump administration has strongly rejected these reports. White House officials described the alleged memorandum as a complete fabrication and accused Iranian media of spreading misinformation. President Trump also told reporters during a cabinet meeting that the United States will not accept Iranian control over the Strait of Hormuz. Trump stated, and I quote, "We'll watch over it, but nobody's going to control it. That's part of the negotiations that we have." I have a short video of Donald Trump addressing the Iran memorandum of understanding issue at a cabinet meeting earlier today.
Mr. President, Iran wants control of the Strait of Hormuz. Would you accept a short-term deal that allows Iran and Oman to control the strait? And would they have to open it immediately, or would you be open to that happening over a period of time?
No, the strait's going to be open to everybody.
And who would control
It's
it?
international waters. Nobody's going to control it. We're going to watch over it. We'll watch over it, but nobody's going to control it. That's part of the negotiation that we have. They would like to control it. Nobody's going to control it. It's international waters, and Oman will behave just like everybody else, so we'll have to blow them up. They understand that. They'll be fine.
Mr. President, thank you. How much economic pressure do you feel to get the Strait of Hormuz open?
Well, you have to understand, the United States has so much oil that we are an exporter of oil. So we have plenty of oil. We're very lucky. We're blessed with the greatest piece of land in the world from that standpoint, and we have more than anybody else. And now when you add Venezuela to it, we have, I think, 64% of the world's oil. And we're getting along very well with Venezuela, by the way. It's being run really beautifully. The big companies are moving in. It's going to be amazing because it's also like us. They're very blessed in that sense. But we have natural energy that no other country has. We have more than anybody else. So it's really a world problem because most of the world doesn't have that. And we're making it available. During the closing, I don't know if you've seen some of the satellite pictures, boats, hundreds of boats lined up. It looks like, I used to say, the Long Island Expressway with cars. They're lined up and they're coming to Texas, Louisiana, they're coming to Alaska.
Uh, two key, well, a few points to highlight here. First, nobody's going to control the Strait of Hormuz. That's what Donald Trump says. That's what Donald Trump thinks. I'm sure Iran would disagree. Iran believes that at the end of the day, whatever peace deal has arrived at, Iran is going to be controlling the Strait of Hormuz, probably in partnership with Oman, who are on the other side of the strait. That is what Iran has been working on. So Trump is, saying that nobody was is going to have control over the strait. Um, he also indicated that America will watch over it. Again, I do not understand what that means. America watching over it. Does that say America has control, or is America watching over it to ensure Iran is not controlling it? So again, these are very technical statements, which I'm sure the negotiators would have to break down to fully understand what it really means when Donald Trump says, well, Iran isn't going to have control, but we are going to kind of watch over it. So I think that is something too that I kind of came up from the video. And also in his comments, could also be interpreted as kind of a warning to Oman regarding any joint management arrangement with Iran. Remember, I said earlier that Iran was in talks with Oman to come up with a structure that both countries could use to manage and control the strait. Donald Trump seems to be saying that if Iran and Oman attempted to manage or control the strait, then Oman is also going to be targeted. Those are the few, I think the three most important points that I kind of wanted to highlight with regards to Donald Trump's comment about who would have control over the strait. I guess at the end of the day, one could conclude that Donald Trump would prefer that America has control over the strait as opposed to having Iran or Oman do the same. The Strait of Hormuz remains the central issue in the conflict and continues to be the biggest obstacle preventing both sides from finalizing any memorandum of understanding. If the leaked terms are accurate, it is also interesting to note that the nuclear issue, which was originally presented as the main justification for the war, now appears secondary to the broader effort to stabilize the Gulf and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. However, developments over the past 2 days have complicated efforts towards peace. On Tuesday, May 26, reports emerged that the U.S. forces conducted strikes against Iranian targets after Iran allegedly launched drones towards ships operating in the Strait of Hormuz. According to reports, U.S. forces intercepted Iranian drones and struck a drone control station near a major southern Iranian port city along the strait. U.S. officials stated that the sites posed a threat to both American forces and commercial shipping traffic. U.S. FA-18 fighters jet were reportedly used during the strikes. On the other hand, the Iranian the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC, claimed that it had downed an American MQ-9 Reaper drone after what it described as a hostile aircraft entering Iranian airspace in the Gulf region. The IRGC also claimed that it fired at an F-35 fighter jet and an RQ-4 intelligence gathering drone, forcing them to retreat from Iranian airspace. Iran further stated that it reserves the legitimate and definite right to retaliate against any ceasefire violations by the United States. Another complicating factor is the continuous escalation between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon. The IDF has intensified airstrikes across southern Lebanon, with reports indicating that more than 30 people were killed in airstrikes conducted between May 26 and May 27 alone. One could conclude that while Iran and the United States may genuinely want to avoid a prolonged war, the two sides remain far apart on key issues. Furthermore, any agreement would also need to satisfy their regional allies, Israel for the United States, and Hezbollah and allied groups of Iran. We will continue to monitor these developments closely and bring you the latest updates as the situation evolves. Thank you for your time and your attention. We'll see you again soon.